Mike's Daily Podcast.
So I've given my mic volume absolutely no volume whatsoever, so Hayley's going to have to do the show. Go ahead.
Hi!
That's not annoying in any way.
Today, we're here on Mike's Daily Podcast, and...
Alright, anyway, whatever. Just kidding.
There's currently a tornado headed towards our...
He's so loud. Wait. Mike's Daily Podcast.
A tornado, and now there is an earthquake! I'm getting reports that an earthquake is about...
Mike's Daily Podcast.
...to hit!
This is episode 1069. The French came up with that position. What am I talking about? Oh, that's fine. I think I like to talk about my coffee. It's so delicious, but it's not as good as toffee, because toffee is made with a...
Sugar. It's sugar.
Oh, yeah. Mike's Daily Podcast. This is the kind of podcast that you listen to when you're depressed and you need someone to make you daily happy and realize that your world is fine.
Because if you listen to this podcast, you'll be like, wow, this is great. I no longer feel bad about myself because these guys suck.
We're really hard on ourselves today.
That's true.
I think we shouldn't be. I think we should acknowledge that we are unique, just like everyone else. Today we have Hayley.
Hi.
Hayley Thesemi.
In case you didn't notice.
I'm Mike Matthews. And coming up on this show, we're going to get to Madam Rootabega, Valentino, Bison, Bentley.
And 2 sticky notes.
I have 2 sticky notes worth of notes.
Extremely small sticky notes.
Yeah. And it's a Monday.
It's a Monday.
Hey, I talked to John, our one podcast listener, my next door neighbor.
Oh, really? And
he said, hey, congratulations on your 1000th episode, even though you're probably at 1100 by now.
Nice.
And I said, that's very nice of you, John. He's a nice man. That being said, What are you looking at over there? Are you looking at the recording and your huge chunk that's like super loud because you're screaming at the beginning of the podcast?
I love it.
Oh, look, you just walked in. Hello, Mike Matthews, it's about the Rootabega. Oh, I love Hayley when Hayley's really loud. It's good. It's like when you hear the roar of a narwhal. Oh, we love Greg Proops talking about narwhals.
Narwhals.
Michael Matthew, what's a narwhal? A magical creature with a unicorn. It's an actual...
On its face. Just stick a unicorn on the face of a whale.
It's the only animal that actually has a unicorn versus unicorns, which are fake and full of fantasy.
That sentence and statement made perfect sense, and I agree with you.
I'm sorry, girls that live in the 80s, that, you have your poster with...
Lisa Frank has been lying to you all of these years.
Look who else just walked in.
Hello, Mike, it's Valentino, the packing attendant. The packing attendant.
And this is Bison Bentley. Do you know that?
Oh, no, there's no more unicorns. I'm so sad.
Yeah, they were creatures of fantasy. Do you know that?
You ever see the movie The Last Unicorn?
No, how was it?
Neither have I.
Oh. Good.
Yeah.
I think we've... Ah! And I was surprised you didn't see Mummy. I thought I was the last person on the planet not to see Mummy.
No.
Mummy. Are you my mummy?
Are you my mummy?
It was a good thing. Now, so Greg Proop's beginning of his podcast was really funny. I was not that enthused about Paul F. Tompkins' intro to his podcast. You haven't heard it yet?
This week, no.
But he's talking about the laundry room, how it's scary because the washing machine was vibrating away from the wall, and he said it was coming to get you. Thoughts?
Right. Agree. Especially when I was living in university and we had those university laundry mats with them all lined up, and they would get very violent.
Mats?
Laundromats.
Oh, laundromats!
Yes.
And they would get violent? The machines would get violent?
Yep.
And this is at Azusa? Mm-hmm. You've lived such an interesting life, Hayley.
That's weird.
You were in Azusa Pacific already.
Yeah.
Ohlone.
Yeah.
You were so Ohlone. Yeah, we have a college here called Ohlone.
I'm all alone.
You were in a barbershop quartet. You were in
all alone.
Traveling choir.
Yes.
You were raised by an interesting husband-wife combo they were religious, but
Wolves.
They school taught you.
Yes, I was homeschooled.
Homeschooled. What did I say? School taught?
School taught. No, I understood. I understood what you said.
What is it?
No worries. We got chemistry.
What the hell was that supposed to mean? Anyway, they taught you things. And then
I was taught a thing or two.
You have older siblings.
I have older siblings by 11 and more years.
That's insane.
I am a...
Aquarius?
No, I'm a Gemini.
Wait, Gemini is the song by Moody Blues. I da-da-da-da in a rock and roll band. No, they have a song called Gemini something. And you like the Moody Blues.
I do like the Moody Blues.
And other 70s bands and 60s bands.
That's true. I also just like noise music.
And you like noise pop.
Yes.
Or noise, what do they just call it, noise music?
It depends. It's noise pop, noise rock, noise, harsh noise. There's lots of different types of noise.
That's the kind of podcast we're doing, is a noise one.
There's electroacoustic, which is kind of how noise music started. There's experimental. And that's way back when. It's like John Cage was one of the first experimental musicians. He's the one who's most famously, I'd say, known for composing the song 433, which is the famous song that's 4 minutes and 33 seconds with silence.
Hey!
Yeah.
Damn it, I had a question. It just left my head. Go on. Sorry, you're ranting about the wonderful music you know.
There's musique concrete, which is actually quite linked to electroacoustic. Musique concrete is a form of Dada music, where it's a collection of different recorded and found sounds.
You just blow my mind.
Used to actually create sort of a sound landscape. It's very sort of fragmented. There's no, obviously, melody or progression to the song so much. And then electroacoustic music can be very easily incorporated with musique concrete, but it was basically when the synthesizers were first coming about, when you had your first MOOCs and such, when they weren't exactly ready for like actual mainstream music, or people didn't know how to use them for that purpose. You had musicians who were just making texture pieces, sound texture pieces, just basically any sort of sounds that they could, and recording them, and that's where electroacoustic music came from.
Oh my god, I never knew that.
You hear a heck of a lot of early sort of experimental rock pieces or concept pieces take a lot of influence from both musique concrete and electroacoustic, especially when the Beatles and the Beach Boys were doing their Revolver to Pet Sounds to Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band influence each other's. You heard the Beatles had a few little electroacoustic music
really? Like what?
Pieces. Well, Revolution Number 9 for starters, which was a little bit later in that career.
Right.
That is a bit of a combination of electroacoustic and musique concrete.
Let's hear a little bit of that right now.
Why?
Just kidding. Revolution Number 9, Number 9, Number 9.
And then Pet Sounds, of course.
Beach Boys.
They actually incorporated pet sounds into that album. They, added little noise pieces and such.
Fascinating.
Into different parts. So, that was actually a lot of the end of my high school career and college. was just I had an obsession with music research, and so I was listening to music concrete and electroacoustic and getting into early experimental, which is Velvet Underground, Captain Beefheart, things of that nature.
Oh, so you, NPR. That was educational. I just took an educational ride with Hayley. What? You keep looking over there at the computer that's recording us.
I'm not doing anything.
At Cafe Anyway. Wow. So I'm going to look up some of the... What was that called again?
Music Concrete. MUSICONCRET.
That sounds like a French way of saying music concrete.
Yeah, it is. I don't know what concrete stands for, but I know it's...
Is it maybe like that stuff that you walk on the sidewalk?
No, it isn't.
Oh.
I think it's like creative music.
Then you, France! No, we stand behind you, France. We love you, France.
And then electroacoustic, which... It's electroacoustic. What are you going to do?
You know what? We just knocked something over. You know what? We both like the, the Free Music Project? What's it called? Free
Music Archive.
That's where I first saw those categories you were mentioning.
Yeah, electroacoustic is definitely something big on Free Music Archive. They have all right stuff. I cannot remember the name of this website, but it closed down fairly recently. And I used to go to it all the time, but it was a depository of all of these very obscure musique concrete and electroacoustic pieces. And not like modern stuff from the 50s and 60s.
Whoa!
There's this guy, Frederic, I don't know his last name, who was the forerunner for this music, who is considered to be the inventor of that.
I bet you we can find it if we type in the search bar Free Music Concrete. But I'm not going to do that now. Or
I could just...
on your phone? No, don't do that. Don't do that. If you do that...
I could find the name of the guy very easily, but I'm not going to. But there was a lot of his pieces there. There's a lot of various other pieces there. It was so much music.
Dang. You've experienced a lot in your short years. What have I done? I'm going to cry right now because I've done nothing.
You watched all of Seinfeld and all of Friends and all of what? Sex and the City?
Almost all of Friends. Oh, Gilmore Girls, not Sex and the City.
Not Sex and the City.
Because I was married and my ex-wife wanted to watch those. And then I made her watch... Oh, I've also watched every episode of Northern Exposure. And that was done before I was married, and then as I was married... I made her watch some of them, but then she didn't like it. The only thing is, though, Hayley, the problem with Northern Exposure, they used a lot of music in it, and they couldn't get the rights to the music when they sold them as DVDs. So you're like watching it, you're like, wait a minute, there was supposed to be an Enya song here. And it was some horribly...
Can't say what
as we go outside a cafe anyway, we're ringing.
Only time.
Sail away, sail away, sail away. That's another one she does.
That happened with Prairie. No.
We're outside a cafe anyway. We're ringing Mike's Daily Podcast.
WKRP. That happened with WKRP as well.
No! See, the music was so important to that show.
I know. Yeah, that happened with WKRP as well, I know.
Yeah. Hey, Melissa McCarthy's movie's #1 in the box office, I heard this morning. It beat Batman and Superman versus them.
What movie is it?
It's called The Boss. This girl that I emailed about the job opening we have here, and she's like, early 20s, and I thought this would be a good opportunity for her. And she doesn't want to work here because she wants to be in music radio and play, freaking 1975 all day. Whatever the bands are that are popular these days. What bands are popular today?
The 1975, yeah, good job.
That's what I posted to your Facebook, ex-ambassador.
Oh, right.
So a former boss of mine, okay, we were both competing for program director at B95.1 in Ventura, and he got the job. I lost out because I guess I'm inferior to him, son of a... Anyway, I was going to hit F8 and bleep and cuss, but I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to stoop.
We're better than that, I feel.
Anyway, ex-ambassador got to play at one of his open mic things. He's now in, like, St. Louis or something at a alternative station. And there they were. Hey, living like a renegade. As I mentioned, I like...
Buy cars.
That's what that song's turned into, as a buy car commercial song. Where was I at? I took a trip on a sailing ship, and I got lost.
Sloop John B?
That could be. The cook threw out all my grits. Hayley?
Yeah?
Melissa McCarthy's movie was number one in the box office, and it beat Batman versus Robin, and... So anyway, back to the girl. So I told her she should take this job. She said, no, I want to play ex-ambassador. I'm like, all right. Then we proceeded to have a conversation back and forth, and she said, I went to go see The Boss. I thought she said she went and saw Bruce Springsteen, because that's what... She didn't know, maybe you don't know this, Hayley, that... In many people refer to the boss,
Bruce Springsteen
as the boss. That's his nickname.
Springsteen's the boss, Elvis the king.
Very good.
I think there's Queen Latifah, but that's entirely different.
What's Beyonce's name? She's got like Miss B or something.
Bay. Queen.
But what is Queen referred to as?
I don't know.
How about... Oh, and then Michael Jackson was the king of pop.
Right.
And then there's crap in my eye and I can't stand it anymore. Anyway, can we get to the... Oh, can we talk about our funny Archer story that Dave Nader had? Let's listen to that funny bit with Dave Nader now.
So Mike has a podcast that it has some hilarity in it that I've not yet heard, actually. But anyway, we'll talk later. Well, some people have heard it. I know that. More people than have heard mine.
That was wonderful. So David Nader is a pastor. That's something very important to note.
Yes, he was raised by a pastor. He's a wonderful guy that loves Yaz.
And he is a pastor.
He's a Yazster.
And we heard these words come out of his mouth.
He said, I love... First off, he likes Bob's Burgers.
Mm-hmm.
And then he said his son watches Archer. And he was like, oh, I'll watch Archer. And then he was mortified by what he saw on Archer and that his son is actually watching Archer.
Because it's Archer. And we were discussing how, like, if you hear a pastor say the words, my son has been watching Archer, you can just feel the blood drain from your face.
I don't approve of this show. It uses a lot of sexual innuendo.
And violence.
It's vulgar. But there...
I think he used the word crass.
Crass.
Yeah.
It's crass. But it does have one... I love that running gag about phrasing.
I think we've used that on the show.
Yeah.
Something similar.
And then you were saying Lana, who's on the show, played by Aisha Tyler, does not look black.
Not in the slightest.
The character.
Not in the slightest.
They just colored her a darker color, and now she's supposed to be black.
And then it does make, like, the first joke you hear they make about her being black, or in reference to her being black, so much more funny.
Because she's not.
Because it's like, wait, she's black?
Oh, wait, we were talking about The Mummy, and I didn't even bring up Rachel Weisz. And we were going to sing our song.
Rachel Weisz, Rachel Weisz.
Bless this out-of-work actress for her.
No, she's got a lot of work. I looked her up on IMDb.
Good for her.
She's doing a huge amount of things, and I've never seen any of them, and I think it said she's in The Boss.
Good for her. Unlike Brendan Fraser, who's in nothing now.
Nothing.
You showed me that video about Brendan Fraser.
No, you just randomly Googled something and it came up.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Can I tell you, Hayley, on my way here to work, it was almost like I had ascended into heaven, similar to Jesus did back in the couple weeks ago on Eber. Eber? That's a new
it's a new ride-sharing program.
Ride-sharing program for Christians. And then the one for Jews is... We're not going to tell you that joke.
We're not going to do that.
Rob did that joke as a April Fool's joke on the air.
And he walked into his boss's office and said, "By the way, I made this joke."
And the boss said, "Well, everyone just got fired at KGO. I don't care."
That's exactly what he said.
It was a fun day that day. We experienced interesting things in radio. Are we still recording? Anyway, what happened was the traffic here was so smooth. All the lights were green. I'm like, I better not get used to this because this is like never ever happens. Because for those of you who don't know, let's say this is the first time you listen to the show. If it is, welcome.
Welcome.
We're really happy to have you listening.
We're extremely happy. I am so sorry.
I can't apologize enough. But we've taken you on at least Hayley educated you a little bit with all the stories of old
music,
experimental music. Yes.
Things of that nature.
As you know what I have to say about this show, though? I mean, this podcast may suck, but at least we keep it going, right? We don't sit there and go, games are awesome. I play games a lot.
I play games too. That explains the Facebook post that I posted that you were confused by.
Oh, that's what that was.
Or I just emoted that I was vibrating intensely because Dark Souls 3 is coming out on Tuesday.
And what is that now?
It's a video game, in case you didn't know.
What do they do in it?
They hit things with larger things.
After the interview with the Go-Ahead, which I posted on the last show, if you want a really good podcast, listen to the last podcast.
Hey, listen to our last podcast.
Where I interviewed the Go-Ahead. No, I interviewed him afterwards. They had left, and I was standing out there trying to take the interview off my iPhone and shoot it as an email to my Google account so that I could keep it in case something happened to my phone, right? Save it. What happened was I'm standing there, and there's these 4 guys smoking, what is it called? Pot? Marijuana? Herb?
The devil's lettuce?
The devil's... Bud, whatever the hell they call it. And they're smoking out, and there's not hot boxing because they were outside.
They were outside.
The world was their box that they were hotifying. Boxing. And I overheard.
Ding, ding, ding.
I overheard one of them said, "Dude, I made $80 last month on YouTube because I recorded my playing this game."
Yeah. No, it's an extremely profitable business. I don't know if I've talked about it before on this show.
No. I should listen to that show if you did.
You can make serious money. There are many people working off of YouTube that actually they make their full income off of playing video games.
Wow.
Because they can get a share of revenue off of their video games. The ones that really make serious money are the ones that are on Twitch.
Oh, wow.
Twitch is a streaming website through owned by Amazon, I think. If you want to get all businessy. But it's free for anyone to use. Anyone can use it. Once you reach a certain number of followers on Twitch, and, people will follow you so they can get notifications on when you stream. People usually set like a schedule and such and whatever. And usually, if you get known for something, that's better, and then you get a lot of followers. But you can get partnered with Twitch. And when you get partnered with Twitch, people can pay $5 and they get a little icon next to their name in your chat. And they
make money off you?
They get to support you so you can stream more. Because half of that money goes to you, and half of that money goes to Twitch. And it's $5 a month for a subscription. And then the more subscribers you have, you actually get special emotes in your chat.
Oh.
And then only subscribers can use emotes. So you get access to those subscribers. You get access to those emotes by subscribing to someone, and you support your favorite streamer. And it can get ludicrously profitable.
Huh.
Because you're getting $2.50 off of every single person that subscribes to you per month. So if you just have 100 subscribers, like... But there's people on Twitch, quite a few people with like thousands of subscribers.
Wow.
And they operate entirely just by streaming.
So how much is Twitch making off all this?
They gotta be making bank.
Jeez.
Like, I wanted to invest in them. I really did. But they got bought by Amazon a while back.
Oh. All right, so people are being enslaved by Twitch.
I love Twitch. I really do. Like, I think it is a wonderful service. I have quite a few people that I watch stream because I can. I don't subscribe to any of them. There's only one that I would subscribe to, and he's not even at the point where he has subscriptions available yet.
Wow. So it's a huge thing.
Yeah. It is. It's pretty easy.
So, YouTube, do they have something similar?
YouTube has a couple different services where you just get a portion of the ad revenue off of your videos. It's nothing as extreme, but it can get pretty profitable because, you put out a bunch of videos and people are watching your videos, and so you can still be making money off of the video that you posted like 3 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Because it still has an ad running on it or whatever.
Hey, so like, let's say I'm a really good video game player. Should I be on Twitch, or is there another website?
Twitch.
Twitch is the one.
You can go on Twitch. You can do many people do a Twitch and YouTube combination. Because while you're streaming on Twitch, you can easily record your streams. You can cut them up, post highlights. I watch a lot of challenge runners for different games, or speed runners, which means they either play the game really, really fast.
Oh.
Or challenge runners, which is they artificially pump up the difficulty, like they limit themselves to a certain weapon or a certain way of playing the game, and then they beat the game like that. And those, people want to see, so they, you put them on YouTube. And
so these are really skilled gamers.
These are pretty skilled gamers, yeah.
Huh. Interesting. My last question to you is, can I make money off porn?
Yes.
Okay, good. And then finally,
I hear that there's a market for bald people in porn. For some reason.
Who knew? That's strange. Well, I think we covered a lot of things on today's show. I think here's where I would like to just complain about how I don't like working really hard on an interview with a band. And I've said this before, and then they don't post anything about it.
We're not naming any names, even though we've only posted one in the last 3 months.
So that's all I have to say about that. If I'm interviewing you, please frickin' post my frickin' interview with you on your frickin' Facebook and your Twitch. That's all I'm saying.
And now we reach the part of the show where we're nearing the end of the show.
This is the butt end of the show. This is where the tail would come out of the show.
This is
And
where
wag.
we say, we hope we see you again. But
As we
we might not.
As we wag our tail.
Because who can say where the road goes when you take it? Only time. Hey, Mike, what's the podcast picture?
God damn it! I knew there was something I was missing. Fudge! Delicious fudge is what the picture is of. I just want to say that if I die tomorrow, the podcast won't be up tomorrow, but Hayley might take it over and call it Hayley's Daily.
I don't have any of your login information for anything, so I can't.
So what you'll need to do is do a search for Hayley, and then that's where you'll find Hayley's new podcast after I die.
Who can say where the road goes?
And you know, that song got popular after 9/11.
Only time.
Because everybody got introspective at 9/11 time, because everybody died, and it was so sad.
And then Clear Channel banned a bunch of songs.
Oh, did you read that memo? Did you show me that memo? Is that how I saw that memo?
The list?
Yeah, the list of songs they banned, which was so ridiculous.
No, someone should. It was things like Van Halen's Jump.
Yeah.
Like, that's how far of a stretch they
that's
went.
what they wanted us to make that stretch in our minds.
It's like, there's people jumping off of the Twin Towers.
Can I tell you that there are still old white men that work in radio that will defend that decision to the hilt? And it's like, you got to be kidding me. Even with the progress of history and time, and we don't see how stupid that decision was for
I think some of them were fine to ban, but I think they went a bit extreme. Like, even when I was working at KOHL, which is a top 40 station based out of a
shoebox?
Shoebox, but no, it's not. It's based out of a radio station. Even when I was doing that, when the Sandy Hook shooting happened, like, we said, okay, we're not going to play Kesha's Die Young.
Oh, really?
You know? Because a bunch of kids died.
Oh, that's still a stretch to me. I don't know. I don't see I think that's so alarmist to start banning songs. It's just weird.
Perhaps. We live in a reactionist world.
This is the deepest podcast you will ever listen to.
Probably deeper than that body of water that you've just pulled up.
I think I'm going to use this as the podcast picture, because look at the windmills.
Those are windmills.
I don't know, Hayley. It's tough to make this. Or Basil dancing on the beach.
Guess what?
Do you want Basil dancing on the beach?
I don't care.
You don't?
The windmills was fine.
All right. So today's podcast picture.
And here's today's podcast picture.
And that's where I'm going to put the podcast picture intro that Ariel did.
Thanks, Ariel.
Is Shepherd's Island, and you drive on this levee to get there, and it's over in the East Bay, over by like Antioch and Oakley and that kind of thing.
Right,
and it's
you talked about that.
The Bay Area is so vast and beautiful, Hayley. You should embrace it.
I can't hug all that. It's too big. I've been to Oakley, though. What a god-awful town.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST-1069. Email Mike now at MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!